welcome back to another Batman News Weekly. This is episode 106 in year 3, and we have a whole bunch of news to talk about on top of covering Titans episode 9, if I'm not mistaken. Or is it episode 8? 8 or 9? 9?
I think it's 9. I think it's 9, actually.
Yeah, so episode 9, and then a whole bunch of comics. But, Clay, I wanted to actually start off the podcast with something interesting, because I got a little curious, and I was, being in YouTube a lot and doing a lot of YouTube stuff, I always get curious of stuff like Social Blade, where you can go check out everybody's YouTube channels and stuff and see how good they're doing and, how many subs they got and all that jazz. I was curious if there's anything like that for podcasts, and there's not. Not that I could find, at least. So, because I guess there's so many places that, host podcasts, so it's hard to get all the info.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, there's not. But I decided, to type in top Batman podcasts and to see where we're at. Because I came across an article that said if you get at least 100 and 42 downloads. Let me see. Okay, so according to this article was, they say if you get over 124 downloads in your first 30 days, you're considered in the top 50% of podcasts. We get over that. So in our we get over that usually in a week. So that's pretty good. We're in the top 50% of podcasts apparently, which is awesome. Thank you to everybody listening. But I decided to look into the Batman specific stuff. And if you just type in top Batman podcasts and Google, it'll pop up a whole list. On that list, we're 19th. But I decided to look at one of the posts or something like that. And according to, I think it's Feedstock, I think is what it's called. FeedSpot. We are the 10th Batman podcast.
Fuck yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool. I don't know where they get their metrics or whatever they do. I decided to check out some of the other Batman podcasts because not all of them upload weekly. I know the top Batman podcast, which is, I believe, is called
which is
Holy
insane.
Batman.
We complain about how much fucking Batman content that there is.
Yeah.
And people don't feel the need to post every freaking week or anything.
There's a few.
It's crazy.
Yeah, there was one that posts twice a week, and I'm like, damn. Yeah, it was crazy. I'm forgetting all the names because I was very curious to see if, we used to listen to one podcast very often, which was Bat Force Radio.
Yeah.
And they get a lot of good interviews and stuff like that. And so I was curious. I was like, oh man, can I check out how many downloads they get? I couldn't find that, but they were one of the top podcasts, if I'm not mistaken. But apparently the top one is someone called Holy Batman or something like that. And they do weekly stuff, and it looks like they've been around for a while. So they have 200 episodes on us, if I'm not mistaken. So pretty crazy. So apparently Batman News Weekly is in the top 10 Batman podcasts. So shout out to everybody that's been listening week to week. And I was just very interested in seeing, I was like, how do you know if you have a good podcast? You know what I mean? And so, over 124 downloads. We usually hit that within a week. So they say that within 30 days. So
all right, DC, where's that sponsorship? Let's go.
For real. And of course, we have YouTube, so that's going to add even more to our stuff, technically.
Yeah.
But anyways, that was just some interesting stuff. Now let's dive into some entertainment news. And you know what? Since we're talking about podcasts, let's go ahead and start off and talk about the Batman podcast that came out on Spotify this past week. I think you sent me this link after we recorded last week or something like that. And so I went to go get food right now. Actually, it took forever, so I was able to listen to the second episode. So nice. I've been able to listen to both episodes. What are your initial thoughts on it?
So my initial thoughts. So we heard via all the articles that were coming out that this was going to be comedic. And with some of the people attached to this, I was like, okay, it's going to be very easy for these people to make this comedic. Rosario Dawson is actually a comedic actress. Freaking Leguizamo is going to be the Riddler, and we got a small tease in the intro of the first episode. He's not there yet, but we did get a tease. Freaking Seth Meyers is freaking Jack Ryder. I don't know if you noticed that. Uh,
Who's that? Is that the radio host?
so Jack
Okay,
Ryder is the radio host.
the radio host is my favorite person. I fucking love the radio host. He just because he's such an asshole. He's like, we're really fucking paying for this stuff? Like, really? Like, come on. We could have done better than
Yeah,
this. Like, I love
so
him.
you know who Seth Meyers is, though, right?
Yeah.
The late night host. He is a
Mhm.
very big comic book fan. He has a lot of comic book creators on his
I didn't catch on
show.
to that.
Yeah, so he is actually the radio host or newscast host or whatever. Of course, Batman, Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey Wright is freaking on a roll with his voice acting stuff. He has What If on Marvel's Disney Plus. He has, of course, this as well.
Yeah.
Um, you know, being both Commissioner Gordon and now Batman, it's insane, to be completely honest. And
What
he
did
is
you think of his
he's
voice, though?
also so the problem is Jeffrey Wright has such a distinct voice on its own.
Mhm.
Like, I can't necessarily see Batman. I just see Jeffrey Wright, you know?
Yeah. I was like, I will say that the comedy is very subtle in this
It is subtle.
podcast.
It's not a like comedic show. I would
Yeah.
say
It's not like
this is
Harley
on
Quinn.
par. This is on par with the classic Superman radio show. It's like an
Nice.
actual story, but it has some comedic beats, but it's actually telling you a story. I will say
For sure.
the one thing that I had issue with, and it's not necessarily an issue, was Robin's voice
Is it a
actress.
woman?
It is a woman.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah, I figured.
I I can't remember the name, but for her it did seem more that like she was more freaking reading off a script rather than
Yeah.
acting it out, you know?
I wonder, is it the woman from SNL? Because there's an SNL
Oh,
actress
you
and
know
her
what?
voice is very similar. The reason why I know it, and I picked it up on the second episode, if this is the woman, there was an episode with a skit with Childish Gambino where he's in a bed with another SNL actress and he's all like, let's talk dirty to each other. And she's like, oh yeah, punk. And she's like, she says all this stupid stuff. It sounds like her voice exactly for Robin.
So
So,
I am seeing if I can find it. Voice cast here as Robin
because
is
that's who it sounded like.
Melissa.
I wouldn't know her
So
name from SNL. So
I
she's a
feel
redhead.
like no, this is not her then.
Oh, okay.
I recognize the face though. I'm gonna see if I can,
Yeah.
because this is a random black and white picture. Okay, she shoot, I know her exactly, but
Yeah,
I
I don't
think
know who
she
she
has
is.
been in on SNL. I'm actually going to send you a
I
screenshot
just sent
of
it
the
my way. But
actress.
anyways, the one thing that caught me off guard, and I started laughing when it happened, was Keenan Thompson as Commissioner Gordon. Because Keenan has such like he has these mannerisms in the when he talks. He's like, what? Like he does like these weird little things that you just know it's fucking Keenan. So
Yeah,
him as Commissioner Gordon, I was just like, fuck yeah. I'm so glad he's still getting stuff. Like I know he's really popular on SNL, but I grew up with him. So
yeah,
I'm
we
so
grew up
glad to
with
see
him with
him.
freaking all that and
Yeah.
Keenan and
Keenan and
Kel,
Kel. Yeah. Like,
Good
so
Burger.
I'm so glad he's still doing well. But yeah, just hearing his voice, I was just like, that's hilarious. So I'm gonna check this out. You know what? This is a girl.
That is
Yeah,
her.
this is her.
Okay,
So if
okay,
you go look up Childish Gambino SNL and pick up the one, there's like a scene where he's in bed with a girl. That's her. It's a
okay.
funny skit. It was probably the funniest thing he did on the show.
Nice.
But yeah, it sounded like her so much. But for the most part, man, like at first, I will say, listening to the first episode, I did think it was kind of weird, but I was into the second episode.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, okay, I was like, I got past that this is a different vibe. It's not trying to be super dark and crazy. Although I will applaud them for not making Batman comedic. Like, they're keeping him like stoic. You know,
Yeah,
they're not
they
Thor
aren't going
Ragnaroking this guy.
yeah, they're not going Batman 66,
Yeah.
you know? Because there's even a
Everybody
part
else is
in
gonna
the
like funny.
yeah, there's a part in the second episode where uh Robin is talking to Alfred, and all of a sudden there's like just like the music kind of like scared me. I was kind of just doing whatever at work, and all of a sudden there's like
Uh-huh.
this epic, like it sounds almost like a Batman intro, kind of like how the animated series, whenever Batman would come out of the shadows, it would like just kind of blare into the
Yeah.
speakers. It did that, and then next thing you know, Robin's like, "Oh, geez, Batman, you can't sneak up on people like that," or something like that. They're still
Yeah.
keeping him stoic. They're still keeping him very much the way Batman is now. But the only
Yeah.
thing for me is that like Jeffrey Wright's voice, man, is just so like, hey, this is Jeffrey Wright. It's not like a Kevin Conroy where I'm like, that's Batman, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it will take
It's
some
not
time.
bad. It's
No,
not
no,
bad.
not at all. Not at all. Jeffrey Wright has, like I said, he's doing the What If on Marvel. He's doing
Mhm.
this with Batman. Also, yesterday it came out, Sandman Act 2. He is somebody in there also. So he
Oh, really?
has that role. And so I'm just getting all of freaking Jeffrey Wright right now in my ears.
Yeah.
And it's not bad, you know?
Yeah. No, I mean, I highly suggest they're only 30-minute episodes, so I highly suggest people checking them out. And the cool thing is they don't like drag because there's like multiple episodes going on. So it's like 7 minutes per section, and then
Yeah.
it jumps to something else. I will say, was not a fan of Two-Face. Didn't like the voice acting for Two-Face, and
Yeah,
I
I
wish,
don't really like the actor. It's
yeah.
Ike Brynholtz. I think
Well,
this
I
whole
wish
entire cast is freaking SNL, to be completely
Probably.
honest.
I wish they would have, which is smart if it's supposed to be a comedic podcast,
Yeah.
but I wish they would have separated the voice actors for Harvey and Two Face
Yes.
because to really differentiate, I can't speak, but you know what I mean, to tell the difference.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's that enough afflection on his voice that it's
Hmm.
like different.
Yeah.
So yeah. But for the most part, I mean, I think the podcast is definitely worth listening to. I highly suggest people go check it out. If you don't have Spotify, you can definitely listen to this on HBO Max. So there's plenty of ways for you to listen to this. But I recommend it. I thought it was pretty cool. So
Yeah, so on the DC fandom website, they do have the third episode there, but it's locked. I don't know when, but also if you want to, if you don't want to just leave an episode up, they do have a podcast feed. So you can go into iTunes, you can go into any podcast stitcher that you have, search Batman Audio Adventures, and it'll be right there. You can subscribe and you can, download them immediately when they come out.
yeah, also make sure you're following Batman News Weekly if you're not already.
Yes.
Because, subscribing helps. But anyways, so there's that for the podcast stuff. Sticking in the audio genre, you literally told me this right before we went live, but it seems like Batgirl has a composer.
Yes.
So, and I haven't watched Loki, but you said this is the same person.
Yes. So the name of the composer, let me actually look it up one more time. Her name is Natalie Holt. She will be composing the entire score for the HBO Max Batgirl movie. I am super ecstatic about this. I could listen to Loki's freaking album score. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't usually buy scores, but
Yeah.
I've gone to Spotify and
Mm-hmm.
listened to that entire album uh at least 6 times since
Hmm.
Loki has ended, and it's just awesome. It really, really is.
So,
It's it's very like I don't necessarily know how it's not poppy. It's not like
yeah.
in your face type thing. It's very stoic. It's very
Is
fluid.
it like Joker?
Um,
Because Joker, I think, has one of the best soundtracks in like the recent years.
I told my friends
Probably
when
not as
this
dark.
announcement came, it's not as dark. I would say it's a little higher pitched
Mm-hmm.
than uh I can't remember the girl's name. Heidi. I think it was Heidi
Mm-hmm.
something for the one who did Joker. Um, it's not as dark, and I
Yeah.
think a little less on the percussion, to be
Yeah.
completely honest.
I'm
But
just it's interesting to hear you say that because as much as people can be Marvel fanboys, there is no memorable music from the MCU. like that is the one thing. Like, can you like pull one song that you're like, oh man, that screams MCU? You can do that for DC movies,
So
Wonder Woman's, Superman's,
the only one
Batman's.
that I genuinely love for the MCU is the opening fanfare.
Hmm.
It's just something that I always want in a Marvel movie. So
Hmm.
there's that. And then I would have to say the Winter Soldier theme.
I don't even
Other
remember that, and that's my favorite Marvel movie.
But other than that, no, not really.
Yeah, they don't have.
Shang-Chi's album was okay, but it
Mhm.
didn't hit as hard as something like possibly like a Black Panther. That
Yeah,
entire
I
album
don't
was
even remember that either. Just
dang.
because the only thing I remember about that is because they actually got artists to be on that, and
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a cop out in my opinion. Like, you know what I mean? You only remember Venom soundtrack because it fucking had Eminem on it, and it wasn't even good. Like, it wasn't even
I just
good.
I just see that freaking TikTok trend
Yeah.
whenever I think of that song. But I mean, it's unfortunate, but like I could maybe say the Avengers theme, but every single time I think
Yeah,
of
that one's
Marvel,
alright.
whenever I think of Marvel music,
Mhm.
I think of fucking okay, when I think Iron Man, immediately AC/DC. Like
Oh, yeah.
it's
But
not
that's
it's
AC/DC though, you know what I
exactly, it's
mean?
not
Yeah.
Marvel music. That's the one
Yeah.
thing that I think is a little bit like but
I'll
with
give
stuff
people Avengers. I'll give people the Avengers theme, but at the same time, I feel like you remember the Avengers scene more than the music. Whereas when you watch a DC movie, you're remembering the music because they use it multiple times, right? Like when Wonder Woman comes on screen, fucking Zack Snyder used that damn song way too much in his 4 hour cut. Yeah, God, Jesus. But you know what I mean? Like everybody remembers Wonder Woman showing up to save Batman for the first time, but then they used her song throughout her whole movie and stuff. You
Yeah,
remember her
yeah.
theme. You know what I mean?
Her
Only time I
theme
remember the
was
Avengers
so
song
sick.
is, if I'm not mistaken, they do it on the first circle shot in the first movie,
They
right?
do it in the
Yeah.
first circle shot, and then they do it again very epically in Endgame, right at the portal scene.
When they all come out. Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, those two scenes. But I remember those scenes because of like Captain America being just like fucked and he's just like on your left. I'm like, I remember that. I don't think of the music.
Yeah.
But somebody can argue like, oh well, then it's not good enough. Like, dude, music does
But
so much for a movie.
I will tell you this. Just last night, I actually had some audio production homework to do,
Mhm.
and I chose to do my report on Junkie XL. He actually has on YouTube a thing called Studio Time, and he
Mhm.
tells you how he created certain themes for certain movies. I went ahead and chose his Flash theme. He does elaborate work, and it's not just like 17 hours of just like, hey, I'm gonna play with a band and record all this stuff.
Yeah.
He does the very simplest shit of like somebody who is just joining in on like audio production. It's just like, oh, I'm
Mhm.
gonna do a loop of like 15 seconds on the guitar. Okay,
Mhm.
loop that through freaking 5 minutes of the freaking song and do all of this other stuff. If anybody is interested in learning about music or anything else, or just listening to really badass themes, go to Junkie XL's YouTube uh, and look at the playlist Studio Time for Justice League. It's actually really, really cool.
Nice, nice. I like checking out that stuff. I just haven't had time. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next thing, which is we did have Batman Day on this past Saturday, which was the 18th, if I'm not mistaken. If you guys follow my YouTube channel, I dropped a awesome Batman unboxing that I got sent from Spin Master, which that was pretty awesome. But we got a scene, or I should say, screenshot of Matt Reeves in a very, very dirty desk. Matt Reeves,
I
bro,
am not
come
going to
on.
show you my desk right now because
Yeah,
I feel
but
like I
geez,
get
do you
him
have dirty
so
tissues
much.
all over it? Like Matt
So
Reeves was bad.
I have an open cup, an open can, like
Yeah.
one, two, three, four, five empty energy drink cans.
Oh my, you need a recycling bin in your fucking office.
Yeah, I
That's
do.
what I have. I have a thing to throw my bottles in.
See, yeah, I
So
definitely need. You know what? I do have one on the other side of my L desk. I just need to bring it a little bit closer.
So yeah, so anyways, Matt Reeves posted a studio like he's in the editing room, which again, it was so dirty. He was wearing gloves. Like
Yeah,
it
like
was so bad.
he was
Uh,
in WB's studio. Again, we're in the midst of a pandemic and it's also California, so they're very wishy, like everybody's
mhm.
split in half. We all know this. We're not stupid. But like just to be safe, he is wearing a mask, he is wearing gloves cuz multiple people go into those
Yeah.
editing studios. But I will say that screenshot, it's very simple, but it looks super fucking clean.
Yeah, Batman with the grappling hook. You can't argue it. Well, I mean, apparently you can argue against it. From what you were telling me, I thought it
Yeah,
looked awesome. We talked about it on my live stream, but Clay said people were bitching about it.
people were bitching about it because they're like, oh, well, that grappling gun looks too much like a gun and Batman doesn't use guns and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, you can't have it fucking both ways because these
Yeah.
fucking hypocrites are the same people that are like, oh, well, Ben Affleck's Batman needed to kill people because it's set in like the real world. And like, if he doesn't kill people, then he would have died within like the first year of him being Batman. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, shut up. Like, like for me, I can make the argument of if this is a Batman that killed, he evolves into a Batman who doesn't kill. That's the story of Zack Snyder, not this whole like, oh,
Hmm.
he's a Batman who should kill all the time. Shut the
Yeah.
fuck up. Anyway, it's just a one still thing. It looks different from the actual footage we saw in the first trailer of him using a grappling gun because we've seen
Yeah.
it before in that
Hmm.
like staircase scene or whatever in the trailer. But on top of that, on Batman Day, the composer for Batman,
Yeah. I saw him.
Giacchino, he also released an extension of these small pieces that we have heard of Batman's theme. He said like something like, I can't wait to show you guys more or tell you
Hmm.
guys more or whatever. I think we are going to get more of the theme or a new theme at fandom.
Yeah, it'll probably play over the whole trailer, you know?
Yeah.
Honestly, dude, I just want like a 30-second trailer, nothing more. I don't want anything longer than 30 seconds. Cause
I
it's
don't know,
just it
man.
dude, you're gonna fucking Suicide Squad it. You're gonna Suicide Squad it, and I don't want that. And I know they're gonna give us like a 4-minute trailer or some shit like that. And I'm just like, I
I've
don't need that.
I feel like it's gonna be a good 250. Like I think
Yeah,
that's what
I
it's
just
gonna be.
don't need a long trailer. Like, I always think you should have one long trailer and everything else should be 30 or less.
You know,
Honestly.
so people I've had this conversation multiple times in the past like 3 years. Teaser trailers back in the day used to be like 15 seconds because it teased
Mm-hmm.
you. It used to
Yeah.
be like boom and you'd be like, "What the fuck was that?" And it would actually build conversation. Like in the freaking the teaser trailer for what's the most recent trailer was what Matrix 4 and it was almost 3 minutes long. I'm like, that's not a teaser, that's a trailer. You showed me like almost every single thing except for in the actual Matrix, you know?
Yeah.
It's like Jesus. But
Yeah, that movie looks weird. But
it looks very meta for
yeah.
sure. But in regards to the Batman trailer, I think, like I said, it's going to be like a good 230, 250, close to 3 minutes. And it's hard because if it hadn't moved, we would be getting it next month.
Yeah. But we would have
And
got
if it
another
didn't
trailer
move
then.
from that, we would have already seen it in March of this year.
Yeah.
It's
But,
just like,
you know,
God damn.
COVID ruined all of that. Well, speaking of Batman, is there more news than this, or is it just what you sent me? Clay sent me a tweet from, I think this is Scooper RPK,
Yes.
Daniel RPK, that sent this, that there are 2 additional Batman spin-offs in the works, which I'm assuming this is different than the Penguin movie.
Yes, it is different. Now, one of them he has said is to be a Riddler spinoff. So not only are we
Okay.
getting a Penguin, we're getting a Riddler, and there's a third one. People are speculating it being Catwoman. I'm not entirely sure what it could be. People are getting very confused with all of this because
Mm-hmm.
once again, it comes with the argument of like I need to know if I actually like these characters.
Yeah.
And does it tease the fact that, like, oh, I know that these characters survive? Yes, but at the same time, we know this Batman doesn't kill.
Yeah.
And
We
that does
hope.
we hope.
Like, we keep saying that, but
Yeah.
I to this day there is not a Batman live action that hasn't killed. So,
True.
from my
Very
understanding.
true.
Yeah,
Very
and one
true.
of them was a racist too. So, like, there's a lot. Oh, I haven't seen it, but maybe Andy Warhol's Batman didn't kill. So, I haven't seen it. It's a hard thing to watch, but
But
yeah.
the I I'm not sure if I can go with that argument because we don't know what these spin-offs are, whether it be a a prequel series or a series that moves the character forward. Are they
Yeah.
trying to make them all like connect as a series so that way you can like it's forcing viewers to watch all three? Like what are they doing with this?
Yeah.
And it's I thought Matt Reeves would be so much more simplistic with the Batman to where it's just like,
Mhm.
hey, I want my trilogy and that's it. But it's evolving into a lot more. And I'm interested to see, we know he is connected to the Gotham PD show.
Yeah.
They haven't really said if he is necessarily connected other than just being, you know, the person who created this universe with the Penguin or these other two spin-offs.
Mhm.
We will know for sure when it gets closer to the production and everything. But
Yeah, I'm sure we'll learn more at Fandom too, like if
yeah,
they announce the spin-offs maybe. So, that'll be very interesting, but if you do a Catwoman, it should just be a heist movie. Like, there shouldn't be anything else, honestly.
yeah.
It should be a straight fucking, like, Italian job ice movie.
Oh, you know
Uh
what? I know we would like to talk about it. I guess I didn't even share this with you, but I guess I should because technically there's Batman related stuff in it.
Mhm.
But uh in well, they kind of announced it yesterday, Scoopers, whatever. Sasha Kaye Supergirl is getting a
Mhm.
series and Keaton is gonna be a part of it in
What?
some capacity. Yeah. Keaton's Batman
On
is gonna
HBO?
be on HBO. They were
Whoa.
trying. Apparently, there was plans of making it to a movie. Then they're like,
Mhm.
okay, let's make it an HBO Max movie. And they're like, wait, I think it works a lot better as a series. So they are
Mm.
creating a Sasha Kaye Supergirl series with Michael Keaton's Batman attached to it. So
Huh.
there's that.
Interesting. Batman everywhere. Give me more Batman.
Well,
Fucking
no,
HBO Max is just gonna be the
this
Batman network.
this does kind of like inch towards the idea of what we were all, kind of guessing at is Keaton being this quote unquote Nick Fury type character.
Yeah.
And I hate saying that because I know it's like Marvel. Like who it would be Batman. He's a
Hmm.
Batman type character. He is Batman who is recruiting and or training people in the DC universe. Like
Yeah.
so stop saying Nick Fury, people. Like it even
Hmm.
says that in a lot of articles that have kind of hinted towards the idea of him training the younger heroes into the DC universe.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it completely yet. I still need to see it like actually happen, you know?
My thing is, man, you can't build to a Justice League and have Keaton as your Batman. Like, if that's what they're trying to do,
He's
gets
gonna
just
he's
too
gonna,
weird.
he's gonna suit up in the Justice Buster or
Buster.
whatever. Yeah.
I mean, I think all of that's cool and whatnot, but like Keaton should have always been like I understand the Flash thing, it makes sense, but he should be building to a Batman Beyond, and that's it. And
Yeah.
especially after what we just fucking read last week, like
Oh yeah.
Batman Beyond is gonna be hyped in 2022. So if it continues to be like that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. But something I didn't write down, but I just remembered
Mhm.
is Batfleck has apparently only recorded stuff for about a week, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Whether it be filming and or ADR,
Yeah.
He is finished filming. It was just 1 week worth
Yeah.
of production with him. And so I texted this to a couple friends and I was like, just enough time to die.
Yeah. I mean, look, if I was Ben Affleck's age and I was kind of getting done with the Batman and I just got back with J-Lo, look, I'll give you guys a week. I was like, sorry, man, I'm dating J-Lo right now. So like my time priorities are very different. So I totally get that, Affleck. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see. Like, is he just doing the end scene, from Flashpoint, where he's all like, thank you for giving me the note from my parents or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you're not gonna have Affleck be in this series anymore, then just kill him off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And do something like. But stop giving people false hope. Stop doing all of this kind of jazz. But just straight up end his story. End
Yeah.
his story. I think
But
it's the best thing.
speaking of Batfleck and the Flash and all of that, um, I shared this on the Discord, and you're like, he needs to stop sharing these.
Mm-hmm.
Muschietti wanted to be a part of Batman Day, because of course he is having two, as
Yeah.
far as we know, Batman characters in his movie of the Flash, and he shared this bat suit that was clearly spray painted red and then a yellow lightning bolt on it. Oh my gosh. This actually had Red Death kind of trending for an entire day.
It looks so bad though. Like it looks like bad cosplay. And that's what I told Clay. I was like, he needs to stop doing these because they look terrible. And until you get to see it on screen, that's when you'll be like, oh shit, it looks awesome. But just like anybody, if you've ever wanted to see superhero movies, I think are one of those superhero movies or shows are one of those things that I think you people really shouldn't see the behind the scenes of them because they're so bad. Of like Henry Cavill, he's like, all right, you need to fly now, and he's like, like he just does that stupid thing. Or the worst one is Flash and Supergirl on their behind the scenes where he's
Oh,
doing the
when they
arm
were like
waves
doing
and
the
she's all like,
arms and stuff.
yeah, it's so bad. Like there are just some things that you just shouldn't see the behind the scenes to, and
It
that's
looks a
one of
little
them, I think.
ridiculous. It looks a little silly, but we've talked about this, the possibility of Red Death making an appearance.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of thought that it may have been shot down for the fact that we heard rumors of the villain being a bad Barry Allen, basically.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure if we can like say, hey, Red Death is not possible. Now, a scooper that I haven't really been paying too much attention to because he's kind of stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Casey Walsh
Oh
said
wow,
that,
that's a blast
yeah,
from the past.
yeah, it's been a while since we've talked about him. He specifically said on this day when Red Death was kind of trending, he said, oh, well, I spoke to people that specifically said that no metal character would ever enter the DCEU. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
you can't say never. Like, you
Yeah.
just can't. Like, if something pops off, then people want to see more of it, you know?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think you can never just say no because unfortunately we have a Joker 2 in production. So whether like that's still a thing. So you can
Yeah.
never say never.
For sure. For sure. Yeah. I mean, if we get Red Death, I mean, I guess that'll be kind of cool. Just please give me like something interesting. I just don't know. Like, I just don't want CW Bad Barry with like some bad acne. You know what I mean? Like, I don't fucking want that again. So,
Maybe that is why Ben Affleck only did production for a week because they're gonna do a like voice modification on him and freaking CGI the whole character of Red Death. Boom, he's gonna turn into Red Death.
so what you would think that all the stuff that we saw of him on the Bat Cycle is pre transforming?
Maybe.
What he's chasing the Flash?
I mean, it's so you saw him like chasing some sort of like armored car.
Yeah, or
or
vice versa. I think
Humvee
he
or
was getting
whatever.
chased by it.
Yeah. Yeah, either
Yeah.
or. I can't remember exactly what the videos were. I'm just spitballing. I'm throwing shit at the wall and seeing what
Yeah.
sticks, you know?
Yeah, I mean, fandom's next month, so
Yeah,
we'll
well, a
see.
little less than a month right now. So
Yeah. So there's Batfleck and Red Flash. We got a small little thing about Peacekeeper, a little scene from Peacekeeper, because HBO Max dropped a trailer for their network or
very,
streaming
very,
service.
very, very small. They did another advertisement basically saying, "Hey, here's everything that is coming out in 2022."
Yeah.
And it was like a small, like 3 second like portion of that video.
Yeah.
And I will say it was Peacemaker acting a little different than what he
Hmm.
was acting in the Suicide Squad. Like you had this whole moment of him like shooting targets or whatever, and he like bends over, spreads his legs, and like shoots between his legs, and it looks a little silly or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. I'm not going to go as far as everybody saying that Peacemaker is a Deadpool ripoff, because that's totally not the character.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I wouldn't agree with that.
but I'm still interested to see it. I'm still interested to see if my prediction is correct in thinking that I think this show is a recruitment show where we will
Hmm.
see people who show up in this show uh
For a new Suicide Squad or
be
what?
yeah, join the Suicide Squad.
Hmm. So we do know that we are getting the Vigilante.
Yes, he
There's
was
been a
showcased
photo
in
that's in the trailer, and we got a photo of him with his mask on. And I have to say, James Gunn kills it with costumes, man.
it looks great.
Yeah.
I think even Marv Wolfman shared a photo like side by side of like his because he's the one who created the Vigilante.
Hmm.
So it was a side by side of like the Vigilante's first appearance and then the person who actually is playing him in this show. It
Yeah.
looks dead on and it looks
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, and that's always been one of I can let a lot of things slide in superhero movies. I cannot let bad costume design slide. Like
Yeah.
I will talk shit about it to the end of the day. It still pisses me off that the MCU does not use Thor's helmet. We don't want to cover up his face. We don't want to cover up his hair. It's fucking iconic. And he only
Yeah,
wore it for like a second.
and unfortunately they have kind of stopped wearing they've had him stop wearing the helmet in the actual comics too.
Yeah.
So
So it's
it
lame.
sucked.
And if Natalie Portman's character doesn't wear her helmet, fuck that. I'm not gonna watch that movie in theaters. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, the
Um,
idea of like, oh, we're paying you for your face. It's like it's Natalie Portman. I know
yeah,
exactly who she is, and I'm
yeah,
sure I will see her face later on in the film. Wear the helmet, like
yeah,
please.
yeah. I think forgetting his name, the guy that plays Loki requested Loki's helmet when
Yeah.
he shot the movie. And I applaud that because that's badass. And Loki looked awesome. So, anyways, so there's that. The only other bit of entertainment news we have is HBO Max has come out and said they are going to do a 3-part docu-series on the DC universe. So, the history of DC is what it says. And they just had like they used the Trinity as the kind of poster children of this. I don't think it'll center around Batman, Wonder Woman, and
No,
Superman.
I think it'll center around the company, its creators, the people in charge. And I'm just
Hmm.
gonna go ahead and say it now. People, if you don't like Jeff Johns, you shouldn't watch this documentary. He's gonna be all over it.
I don't care what they talk about, but I would applaud them if they cover the bad stuff too, because that's what makes a docu series good, in my opinion.
But do docuseries ever cover it like they kind of glance over stuff, you know? They're just like,
Yeah.
"Oh, and at a time this happened. Moving on." And like
Hmm.
they never like go into detail. Like that's the thing.
Yeah,
I
but I
would
mean the good ones do though. So,
I guess I haven't
it'll
seen a whole
depend.
lot of like see, I'm also not a
There are some
huge
docuseries
documentary
that
fan.
paint things like right now, right? So one of the biggest things in the wrestling community right now is the Beyond the Mat series. I think
Oh,
that's what
yeah,
it's
yeah,
called,
yeah.
or Dark Side of the Ring. Dark Side of the Ring just came out and talked about the plane ride from hell, and it, painted Ric Flair in a fucking terrible light. Like, he is a sexual deviant, like, assaulter person. And it made a lot of people look bad. There's stuff, apparently there's one that's coming out tonight that may, or if they do it right, may be painting The Undertaker in a bad light, which, although he's a good old Texas boy, so I expect a lot of bad stuff from The Undertaker. But because he thinks a lot of wrestlers nowadays are soft because they play video games instead of carrying knives and stuff in the locker room. So he has a very tainted mindset. But anyways, so yeah, so that's a docuseries. Of course, the people that are accused are coming out saying like, no, 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 that's not how it is. But for the most part, the good ones actually say the bad shit. And I think if HBO Max were to do that and be like, yeah, because you got to remember, right? Yes, they own DC now, or AT&T does, but they didn't always. So you could be like, yeah, this is the history of the DC universe, DC Comics. It was unfortunate it happened this way. We're hoping things change in the future. That's what they could paint, it for.
Which also, David Zaslav, the CEO of this new merger for Discovery and everything that they are acquiring from AT&T, is actually talking about solidifying the merger in early 2022. So it's actually going to be happening a lot faster than people thought.
This could be one of his projects, and Discovery does good documentaries.
Yeah.
So, we'll see what happens. I'm excited about it, but that is all the entertainment news we have. Although there is one just little bit of comic news that I want to talk about, because an article came out about Scott Snyder and how he was gonna walk out of DC because they wanted to change the ending to his Court of Owls story. Now, look, as much as I've had a problem with Scott Snyder in the past with DC Metal and everything, I thought his fucking run on Batman was flawless. Maybe some nitpicks here and there on the ending. I don't think the ending of it was great, but Court of Owls was fucking phenomenal. But according to this article, DC wanted Scott Snyder to change the ending of Batman not knowing if Lincoln March is his brother or not. And he was like, no, this is the way the story's supposed to go. Apparently he was in a Target and it was yelling like, go cut up my fucking contract. Like, if they wanted Batman to definitively...
Dude sounds like a huge drama queen. Like,
yeah.
Explaining it like that, he does. Now, I understand...
That's what the article said, so...
Yeah, exactly. We are quoting this from the article. We know that we've talked a whole lot about if we worked with DC or Marvel or just got the chance to write our own things, that it would suck for DC to just be like, hey, yeah, all that stuff you're planning, throw it out the fucking window. This is what you have to do. Like, that shit sucks. I understand that. But, like, you have to understand what comes with the territory with writing the number one hero for a company like DC.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I have to say, I don't think it hurts his story that much if Batman were to solve it. I do applaud people that don't always make Batman super OP, but Scott Snyder went and made the Batman Who Laughs ultra mega OP. So you can't say that he's somebody that likes to, change things up. But yeah, I don't know. I made a joke to Clay. I was like, if I write for Batman, I'm totally retconning this. Just to kind of like, because Scott Snyder's done a lot recently that has made me just like kind of sour on him when it comes to DC.
And this whole conversation comes with like a retrospective of the New 52 as a whole. They were talking about everything. You had quotes from Dan Didio, you had quotes from Jeff Lemire, you had quotes from everyone. So it has been a decade since the beginning of New 52. There was a lot wrong with it. There was a lot right with it. And they just drove both of them into the ground, both aspects of the New 52. And they were like, hey, well, clearly this isn't working out. Let's reboot again. but let's not reboot. Let's make it a soft reboot, but kind of reboot, but not really. Let's do Rebirth. And still, that didn't work out completely the way they wanted to, because they said, hey, Jeff Johns, you're in charge of everything. He's like, cool, I'm leaving. Figure something else out. And that's how we came up with Infinite Frontier, where everything matters and nothing matters. It's like, whose line is it anyway, you know?
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I'm not reading the current big stories that are telling like the future of the DCEU and all that jazz, or the DCU, so I'm just kind of like, all right, whatever.
And it's very odd because some of those books, I have been reading them, they feel big, but at the same time, nobody's acting like they're big. Like none of the
Yeah.
readers, nobody's talking about these books,
Mhm.
unfortunately. I just had a conversation with a good friend of mine about how little some of these books are actually being talked about, how little they're
Yeah.
being reviewed, and things like that. And how are we supposed to be enthusiastic about going out of our comfort zone of the Batman universe in DC Comics to read something like an Infinite Crisis or whatever
Yeah.
that leads to, you know?
Yeah. I There's just too much, man. There's too much. Like, I'm overwhelmed with the idea of like buying new manga. Like, I just buy number ones, and I'm like, if it's really good, I mean, High School DxD is amazing, so of course I bought all of them. But it's also stopped being made, which is unfortunate. But like, it's I, it's just too much, man. We've had this conversation on this podcast many a times. We think DC needs to scale back a lot, and like kind of be like, oh yeah, you're gonna get this one Batman book, and then it's gonna take a break, and then another one's gonna come out or take a break, and something like that. Or you could have
Yeah.
like just your main core of characters have weekly books or bi-weekly books, and then everybody else is just graphic novels. We're gonna talk about it later, but Batman World is something I want to see way more of. I don't know how you feel about that, but
I have some opinions that probably aren't the best of Batman World, but
oh,
only a
okay.
few, nothing
Hmm.
crazy. But I do understand where you're coming from. And
Yeah,
I too want more of what Batman the World is
yeah,
as
because
a concept.
the world, just being able to buy it in a book form and have all those stories was nice, instead of being like Batman World 12 issue series from different art. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want that. Just give me a
Yeah.
fucking book. And I thought that was awesome. And I bought that the day it came out, super quickly. Or a few days after it came out. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's all the news we got. Now we're going on to Titans episode 9. And I'm gonna say this right now, maybe my favorite episode of the whole series. So I don't know how
Really?
you feel about that. Yeah. I
So
wasn't expecting this, but
it
yes.
wasn't a bad episode, but that ending was total bullshit. Uh
Yes, I agree with that part. The Bruce Wayne shit I hate. The Bruce Wayne shit I hate. But the Donna Troy, Tim Drake, and the return of Hawk was all amazing. I loved every minute of it. I just
I
loved the what do they call, like, limbo world? I loved it.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I found it very funny that I can't remember the car right offhand, but like it legit looked like an Impala, and I immediately
mhm,
thought like Supernatural, and I'm like,
yeah,
that's a little too coincidental. Same kind of body type and everything, but
yeah,
I liked everything except for the ghouls. I felt like the ghouls looked a little like too generic. It's just like,
mhm,
this is an HBO Max show. It's comic book TV. Like, this is comic book TV. Don't make it
yeah,
like generic kids in hoodies, like, you know? And that's
yeah.
what they did.
I
And it
get
was just
that.
like,
Yeah, they could have went
whatever.
a little bit more Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Um,
But overall, the only thing I did not like about this, the only thing is the depiction of the mascara and everything
Same.
with it.
It should have been
Everything
brighter.
else was good.
It
Huh?
was very dull. The
Yeah.
colors
No,
were very dull.
so the way they depicted the mascara is the same way Richard Donner depicted Krypton in Superman the movie.
I never saw
Very
it.
like, and it's very generic in the sense of like, people who just heard me say that can probably immediately think about it. The council, the straight faced, the bland randomness of like their speech impediments and everything else like that.
Mm,
Like that's not how Themyscira has been shown to the general audience. So
yeah,
why would you do it like that here?
yeah,
And in a sense, there's a little bit of like, oh, it's because Themyscira may have just like lost hope throughout the years, and so they're
hmm,
very just like meh. But if
yeah.
that's the case, like, why even like have Raven take Donna to them and like want to stay?
Yeah.
Like, and is it
Well,
even her
to
choice
be
to stay?
fair,
I'm still very confused about all of that.
yeah, to be fair, the Raven didn't come up with that idea. There was, remember, Donna Troy had that mother figure or whatever in Gotham already, or in San Francisco, and she was like, "We're going back home." So then she
Was that the
died.
same one from last season?
No, that was the woman that took her to Themyscira. But I don't know
Uh,
if it's the same woman in the council. I don't think that's the same
okay.
case.
Okay, okay,
But there
okay.
was somebody. That's the reason why Raven was able to go, because there was a person from Themyscira's council that could
Okay.
take
Yeah,
her
yeah, yeah.
home.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
there's that. But so yeah, we'll talk about the Batman stuff at the end of this. But for the most part, here's the thing, and this is what I'm going to shout out to everybody that has complained that we don't like the Red Hood part or whatever. In this episode, we had 3 characters have so much character development in this one fucking episode. And that was Hank, fucking Donna, and Tim Drake all had good character development. And I think that's what I loved about it. We saw that Donna died, and then she was freaking out when she first got there. She came to terms and she was like, I don't think I want to be a hero anymore. And then at the end of it, we realized she still wants to be a hero.
Yeah.
Tim Drake was there. He died. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. He doesn't remember everything. But then he comes to and he realizes, like, I was going to die a coward. I cannot go out like that. I need to come back. Like, there's no way I can die like this and people remember me as a coward. He's like,
Yeah.
I wanted to be a hero. Character fucking development. And then you have Hank, who has always been like the pessimistic person. And he's like fucking there. And he's like, there's a way out. Like, we're going back. And again, you still see a little bit of Hank of like, I'm going to get my fucking revenge on Red Hood. Like,
Yeah.
fuck that guy.
I liked how he didn't completely change, and I do
Yeah.
feel like there's one throwaway line that just wasn't his character, and it didn't end up being anything.
Mm-hmm.
There's this one line that's like, "Oh, since I've been here, I've been getting like really big into like my spiritual self," and like Donna laughs
Yeah.
at him or whatever.
Yeah.
But
I
that
laughed.
turned
Not going to lie.
yeah, because it's a very funny thing for that kind of
Yeah.
character to say. But that line
Mm-hmm.
literally did nothing for character development or movement of the actual show, because he says, "Oh, because of that,
Uh-huh.
I think of this, and whenever I think of anything, it happens."
Yeah.
But like,
Okay, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. And because we've bitched about this before, and I don't know, we'd be contradicting ourselves. But that was obviously to set up that they could get weapons or whatever, right?
yes.
So if you don't like the spirituality thing, how would you phrase it then?
So
How do you explain that?
I don't think you need the spiritual talk at all.
Uh-huh.
I think you just have the emotion of what he was feeling right there. He's like, I just feel like I needed to protect you guys and I wanted a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't need this whole like, oh, I was really, while I've been away,
Yeah.
I've been really getting in touch with my spiritual self. Like, it was a throwaway line. Like, there is
Mm-hmm.
nothing that like Donna or Tim did not get Hank to elaborate on that at all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it
Yeah.
just made its way into the whole concept of thinking of whatever they want and they
Yeah.
get it. And it made the line such bullshit that later on in the show, none of his thoughts work.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I
yeah, I mean, you can kind of like I totally get what you're saying, but I do think that that just kind of adds up to, as somebody who's been dealing with a lot of anxiety lately, like what you want to happen doesn't always happen. So I can understand why he wouldn't get exactly what he wanted. You know what I mean? And like there are times like when I was always suffering with anxiety, but my dog was dying, I was able to just forget anxiety 100% and focus on that. But at this time, he was kind of in this whole place like, we're gonna get out of here, and then danger strikes, and it's like he was getting weapons, he just wasn't getting exactly what he wanted, you know. Because there
Yeah.
are times when I mean, we'll talk about it later when I was reading World, but I had like a mini panic attack. I was like, all right, I want this to be over, I want this to be over, but it wouldn't just stop. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
just so I can kind of see why, and obviously it adds to the comedic style of it and everything.
Yeah.
I will say, I was kind of hoping that they were going to be in a pinch really bad, and Tim Drake was going to hope to be Robin and start kicking ass. I was really hoping that was going to happen.
I honestly thought he was gonna think of a bow staff, like
Yeah.
just something. Um,
Hmm.
I'm really surprised that he didn't,
Yeah.
because I thought that that was gonna make him build confidence into like really wanting to show Dick Grayson, hey, like even the Titans that I was working with in heaven, basically,
Yeah.
or purgatory,
Yeah.
saw that I could be a hero. And like, so that way, like, I'm sure Donna is gonna like be like his like guy to be like, oh yeah, he definitely can hang with us now,
Hmm.
after
Yeah.
the experience that they shared.
Yeah.
But I I want to see how he develops as a character still,
Yeah.
because he was kind of the person that was kind of like hanging back. It was more so just his psychological state, and him, like you said, he was he called himself a coward, and he's like, hey, I can't go out like that. I was there for a reason, and
Yeah.
I want to still be a hero.
Yeah.
Now, with the concept of the one thing that I feel like, okay, it's a nice sentiment. Uh, Freaking Hank's brother showing up at the end.
Yeah. I thought that was really good.
I thought so. Again, you can't have this character like succumb to doom and gloom after helping them escape purgatory.
Yeah.
You just can't,
Yeah. I didn't
because
want him
then
to die again. Like that would have sucked.
exactly that would have sucked, and you're just like, well, what the fuck? Like, or
Yeah.
is this an idea of like, are they going to continue trying to get Hank back? But if
Yeah.
Hank finds purpose, then he doesn't need to come back.
Hmm.
And we know how close his brother and him were,
Yeah.
in season 1. So seeing him, yeah, was it kind of shoehorned in? Yes, but it worked.
Yeah.
Just to be like, hey,
Yeah.
I thought I
I was
heard you,
very
or I thought
curious
I
on
felt you, or something like
yeah.
that.
I was very curious at why the start they were showing us all the Hank bullshit. I was like, why are you fucking showing me this? Like, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? At the like previously on, kind
Yeah.
of bullshit. I was like, why are you showing me all the Hank shit? But it makes sense now. I absolutely loved Hank's story here. I will say this: I love that they shot this in black and white. Absolutely loved that, just to show like, oh yeah, they're in a purgatory type of world, so there was no color. And I loved when Hank had the two guns. I was like, dude, even if this isn't Titans, put this guy in some kind of like batshit crazy violent movie and just have him in black and white. And he looks badass.
I
And
want Alan Richardson in more projects.
yeah,
He, of course, he voiced Raphael in the newest TMNT movies, the live action ones.
yeah,
Um,
which he hated.
he, which he did hate. Um, he was in, if you've ever seen Blue Mountain State, he
Favorite
was.
show, dude. That show's
It's
so
so
fucking
good.
good.
It's so
It's so
good.
good.
And it's the
Thad,
complete
yeah.
opposite of what he is in Titans.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah,
hilarious. So he has range,
yeah.
but
He's a good comedian.
I want to see more of him, for sure.
Yeah. No, he's fantastic. I'm surprised he hasn't landed a bigger superhero role. He was in the running for Shazam.
Yes, he
So,
was.
yeah, it was him and this other guy. The only thing is, I didn't think he had Shazam's hair, and I was like,
Mhm.
yeah, I was like, I don't think he would look good for Shazam there. But I think he could have got the comedy stuff done really well. But although I should say Zachary Levi's a pretty great Shazam.
Yeah, he
So,
is.
but yeah, no, I would like. So it doesn't look like he's gonna come back, but I like that there's a chance he could. But and I'm glad because there was a little hope of me that I was like, they killed the wrong person on this show because Hawk is so good. Like
He
I
is.
loved him in this fucking episode. And I was like, and he's always like really intense in the show too, with him and Dawn and all the stuff he was going through. And I was just like, dude, they killed the wrong person, in my opinion. But I was glad that they brought him back. He was able to help his friends again. And he got a good send off. That's better than him just dying and blowing up. Granted, the blowing up was cool. My problem would have been had he crossed the bridge and came back to life, I would have been happy, but I would have been like, how? Because the other two
He's in
had
pieces.
bodies. Yeah, the other two had bodies. And I was like, is this going to be one of those things where bodies can just form again? You know what I mean? So, like,
I have a question for you because it totally seemed like it. Did they make fun of themselves in like talking about Donna's death?
What do you mean?
So there's a point where her and Hank are talking, and she's like, "Do you think I wanted to die? Do you think I'm happy with the way I died? It was at a freaking carnival." Like, and
maybe,
she talked, and I'm
maybe.
like, I kind of want, like, I would kind of applaud Titans for that moment if it comes out to being like, yeah, we kind of knew that like last season finale wasn't great.
Yeah.
So just a little
if they
poking
came
fun
out
at
and
ourselves.
said it, if that was done prior and they were like, yeah, we just had to throw it in there. Like if she came out and said it, she was like, if she was like, I told the writers that they could make fun of this somehow, and they did, like that would be great. But if some random ass writer comes out and says like, oh yeah, like we thought the finale was bad or whatever, because one, that's kind of unprofessional. Like we could talk shit about the show all we want because we don't work on it, but like another writer shitting on another writer on the show would look kind of bad. Like, that finale
it would be very sus or whatever.
Yeah. But no, like I just some of the stuff Hank was saying was just funny, and I just really loved him on the show. And then to see his brother come back and they're like his brother was like, yeah, man, we always used to protect people, so I saw people protecting.
He said,
and they basically set up Hawk and Dove in the fucking like purgatory. Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. And so I would totally be down. Like, I would love for him to come back. And if he came back with his brother, like they found a way to come back, that'd be kind of cool. Because I still think a Hawk and Dove show would be amazing. Like, I think they could do something cool.
Talking about wanting a Hawk and Dove show.
Yeah.
And legit, right before we started recording, fucking Cameron, whatever his name, the dude who plays Jason, said, hey, imagine if there was a Red Hood movie. I'm just like, God damn it, no, stop.
No.
Like, just cut it out.
I want
There's
Dove
no
to
need.
kill him. Yes, I want Dove to kill him at the end of this series. But you know what? That's another thing that they could try to, like, if Donna, so at the end of this, we know Donna comes back. Okay, first of all, this fucking Batman. I'm fucking done with people. Batman has 80 years of history. How do people write him so bad? Like, I just don't get it. This Batman does not seem coherent. Like, his personality or anything in this.
I have one of my other co-hosts from the... he's from Geekverse. He runs Geek Ultimate Alliance. He loves the mentally unstable Batman. Like, that's the type of Batman he likes. So like,
he loves Frank Miller's Batman.
I'm pretty sure he does. He's all for Matt Reeves doing this stuff with Robert Pattinson. He's down for it. And like the whole scenes in Titans where he was like, hey, Dick, do you want to be Robin again? Like getting all like crazed out and everything. He's here for it. So like him getting ready to freaking sign his will and set himself on fire, I'm sure he's like, oh, this was the best episode ever. Like, he's so ready to just kill himself. He's great. And I'm just like, that's not who Batman is. What the fuck is this?
Yeah, like, I don't understand this weird fascination with that Batman in particular, because it's some of the worst Batman stories out there. But there are people that love Arkham Asylum, which I think is such a shit story. But people love it.
I can't read it. I can't read
it because the story itself is garbage. Like, it's just because it's Grant Morrison. That's all it is. It's like Scott Snyder, right? We still can't believe people love death metal. Like, but it's because people were like, it's Scott Snyder. He does great. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like, it's just because it was Grant Morrison. But anyways, here's the problem I have with this Batman. I'm not going to just say it sucked. Because one, I'm still very confused if this Batman ever killed prior to this. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt because I'm not going to watch season 1 and 2 again. I'm just not going to do it.
I don't think he did.
Okay, so then
I think he was brutal, but I don't think that he killed.
And the way Dick Grayson talks about him just doesn't make sense sometimes because Dick Grayson literally said 2 or 3 episodes ago, Batman, what would you do with a drowning person? You throw more water on him or whatever. I'm like, that
Yeah.
would kill them. Like, that just doesn't seem like something Batman would do. And granted, I will say, Batman World had some good stories about what Batman is. So I'm excited to talk about some of those. But I just don't understand this Batman. Now, I can understand that Bruce Wayne, aka Batman, would start losing his mental state post killing and not being Batman anymore. Because Batman, we know, is his true identity. Bruce Wayne is the mask. So I can understand that from that perspective. Although they don't spend enough time with Bruce Wayne in this fucking show to really get that across, right? Because all we
Yeah.
know is he kills Joker and he's like, be a better Batman. And then he got on a plane and disappeared.
And he dips.
And then we find him in a castle, super zoned out of his mind. And he's just like...
So here's the other... He's in a castle, not the freaking Wayne Mansion. He's in a castle somewhere on a cliff that we don't know where it is.
Yeah.
That's very important for what happens at the very end of this fucking episode.
Yeah, so anyway, so he signs his will and testament away. Mind you, how did that castle look so nice? Have people went and renovated old castles to make them look really awesome nowadays?
I'm guessing that's something that Bruce would do. Just be like, hey, we're gonna make this our like southern hemisphere, or like wherever the fuck it is.
Because it looked like Wayne Manor, but the outside was a fucking castle.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so we just see him at the start of the episode, then it rolls credits for that. And then at the end of the episode, we see him putting gasoline all over the mansion or whatever. And I don't understand why people do this. Like, you could have just threw yourself off the building, Bruce, if you wanted to. Like, somebody could buy that mansion, bro. Why you gotta burn it?
So,
but anyways,
I think because I thought the same thing. Why do all of this when you could just end it quickly? Yeah. And I think they're gonna go with the idea of, oh, I killed somebody, I need to suffer.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have kind of, in those horrible stories that you say that are in comics with this mentally ill Batman, his the way he gets through some of this stuff is through either physical or emotional punishment. Mm-hmm. Like he goes through all of these things to then realize, oh wait, the city still needs me. I'm Batman, Yeah. And I think they're gonna kind of go with the same thing. He's trying to make himself suffer in the worst possible way because he did the worst possible thing in his mind. So instead of just ending it quickly, instead of just jumping off the cliff, he's gonna burn alive.
Mm-hmm. Again, even in this instance, I feel like Batman would turn himself in if he actually killed somebody. Mm-hmm. And he would suffer in jail. That's how I feel. Like, because he's thrown everybody else in there. Why wouldn't he do the same with himself? He's going to off himself. It just seems like the one thing that, I know, being a fanboy of Tom King, one of the biggest blunders of Tom King's run, and he admitted some of this stuff on his early run, he kind of made Bruce Wayne have like a suicidal moment. Granted, looking back on everything Tom King's like probably seen in his life and what we've read through his issues, it makes sense and it's believable that Bruce Wayne could have possibly had that. But, it being Bruce Wayne and Batman, some people are like, nah, Batman wouldn't do that. Although they're okay with Batman not doing that there, but they're totally cool with all this other bullshit of him possibly killing and all this crazy shit. Just so weird. But yeah, so anyways, Homeboy's gonna kill himself, like setting himself on fire and everything, and he's like knocked out on the floor because of smoke inhalation. And out of nowhere, Nightcrawler Diana fucking teleports in, and she's all like, "Oh, what the fuck? Oh, Bruce, oh, you're on the ground. What the fuck?" And picks him up and saves him.
She's running fast. She runs in there.
No, she looks like a teleport. It looks like she Nightcrawler teleports. Because how did she get to fucking from Themyscira, she ran on
That's
water?
the point. That's what I'm talking about. There's literally
That's why I'm saying she teleports.
She can't teleport, dude. It's not within her
No,
wheelhouse.
that's the thing though. She teleported though. That's what I'm telling you. Go back and
There's
watch.
no way.
She doesn't
There's
super
no
speed
way.
in. She fucking Nightcrawler teleports. Because there's
no
a
way.
black smoke. There's a black smoke. And
The
you know what?
The building's on fire,
No,
Juice.
no, this is darker smoke, bro. Smoke is like gray. This shit was Nightcrawler. There's probably like hints of purple fucking cosmic energy in that. And you know how they're gonna put it off? Is they're gonna say that it was fucking Raven that sent her body there to save Bruce. That's how they're gonna spin it in the next episode.
Way.
Yes.
There's no way.
No, that's how they're gonna do it.
Okay.
Because now Raven can teleport people.
I am fast forwarding all the way here.
I'm telling you, she doesn't super speed. She fucking teleports.
Okay,
she's Nightcrawler.
She does super speed. You see yes, in the background. So what it is, he is on the ground, and if you look behind him, you see her coming, like running towards the camera from all the way like past the smoke. You see
I had to look at this. She looked like she fucking Nightcrawler teleported in there. Either way, I still think they would probably say that fucking... Well, then how does she know? That's the thing too.
Again, it's bad writing. They almost went an entire... Okay, not an entire episode because of all the Raven bullshit. Like, I
can't believe she's still annoying.
Yes,
after 3 seasons. No character development with her.
So I talked about this in my group chat with all my podcast friends. We were talking about, okay, so why is Raven so unlikable? You know, some people were like, oh, she's annoying and all of this. And I think I found it out. So Raven is very cookie cutter. She has her background, her backstory, right? But it is the exact same in every reiteration: comics, animation, live action. Nobody has put a staple on her character to make her unique and different or likable, in the sense of like, hey, we see everybody else doing the same, and not everybody is like freaking all over Raven, right?
Yeah.
People should want to be able to, hey, we're gonna make this character different so that way she is likable. And I understand the idea of like, oh, if we do something different, people may not like it. I understand the sentiments, especially when it comes to superhero properties.
Yeah.
But with Raven, for somebody who is not liked in most of the comic series that she's in, and or TV adaptations or movies or whatever, you need to do something that's going to give you a little bit more, likability, something that is more or less this of what we are getting.
Teenage Raven.
She is so one note. She has no emotion. When she tries to pull off emotion, it's very like it's acting. Like it's not acting, it's acting.
She almost cried in this episode, and then it's like she starts doing it, and then she like stops, and it's like the director was like, why'd you stop? And it feels like that's what happened. Like she was there because like had she kept going, it could have been believable. But she's like, and then it just stops, and then she kind of like looks like sideways or something like that. I'm like, what? Well, you should have just kept crying.
It makes no sense. This whole idea of like this elder freaking Amazon or whatever you want to call her is like trying to basically beat in the idea to Raven, Donna's dead and she's not coming back.
Yeah. That should have been Donna's mother. I think it would have been way more powerful had that been Donna's mother.
So the crazy thing about that, in comics, Donna doesn't have parents.
Oh, she made out of clay, right?
Her backstory is literally unknown. Like,
wait, that's not the Dark Steppenwolf sister or whatever. Who's the Steppenwolf sister?
So they've played around with a lot of different things, but they've changed it so many different times. There is no like solidified, hey, this is where you come from. Like recently in the Rebirth, because of that, they're just like, oh, you were actually made to be a villain. So like there's a future Donna Troy that comes to like fight the Titans at one point in Rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
But I, for like a split second, was like, holy shit, is that Hippolyta? Is the
That's what I
girl
thought
she's
too.
talking about Wonder Woman? Is Wonder Woman dead in this universe?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
If that ends up being what it is, I wish they would have fucking told us, so that way it's like, okay, there's weight here. Like, Wonder Woman is dead, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. The whole thing of like, oh, rebuild this entire freaking thing of rocks so that way you'll learn your lesson. I'm just, this is stupid. There's no reason, no rhyme or reason for this at all. The whole Themyscira
it was just
thing
a symbolist thing, you know.
Yeah,
just
I
saying,
understand
like,
the concept. Like, hey, like once it's broken, right? Because she finally does it, and then it topples over, and that's when she's like, she's dead, and she's not coming back.
Yeah,
like that's when she's like tries to cry or whatever.
Yeah,
and then she like feels Donna's return for some reason, runs back, and Donna's gone.
Yeah,
but then that's when you see her freaking flash all the way over here to save Batman. It makes no sense. How did she know that Batman needed to be saved? Was she running all the way back to Titan's Tower? And she's just like, hey, look, that's Bruce Wayne's mansion. Holy shit, that's Bruce Wayne's mansion. Like, it doesn't make any sense. There's nothing you can tell me that says, hey, this is how it logistically makes sense for Donna Troy to save Batman in this instance.
Yeah. The way they should have done it is right after Tim faded away, Bruce's shadow should have showed up. And she'd been like, Bruce? And then she should have fucking saw him right before she left the afterlife and been like, where's Bruce? And then fucking did that.
Oh, shit. So like he was almost dying, basically.
Yeah.
Like he would have shown up in purgatory.
Yeah. So,
okay.
But then I know people would be like, oh, why was he on the train? Or why wasn't he on the train? Because he's Batman. Like, that's why. Batman has his own train. But anyways, I thought this was one of the better episodes. I think this is probably up there with episode 3 or whatever. The other one that had Hank in it. Like, honestly, Hank's my favorite. So and,
episode 3.
Yeah, so
it only took 6. It only took 6 episodes, and we have 5 more. Well, sorry, no, we have. This is 9, 3. You have 6 more. We have 6 more episodes. Holy shit!
It's going to 15.
No, this is 9.
And
it's 13. So 10, 11, 12. Oh yeah, 13. Sorry.
Yeah. I was like, math. Whoa, this math is way off. I was like, 6 more? What the fuck? I
was like, hold on, wait a second.
Yeah, no. So I just don't. Just give me a Hawk and Dove show. Bring me back Dove. I want Dove on this show. She was one of the main reasons why I watched. So it's unfortunate she's not back. If she comes back and she kills Jason, I would be happy. That would be great because that kid needs to go. That kid sucks. I don't know if that kid sucks more than Raven. Oh man, that's interesting.
Cameron dude sucks like Jason Todd?
Yeah. If his character sucks more than Raven.
I think so.
Oh, that's saying huge. Because like I can get away with like they need to build on the Gar and Raven relationship. They just need to. Yeah. Like that's what people want, obviously. And they got that new book coming out soon. Like they should really focus on that. But for the most part, I think man, I hate them both. That's tough. Anyways, let's move on from Titans.
If they both leave Titans, are they gonna just keep writing horrible characters and we have to be like, fuck, we hate them too?
You know what? Have Jason Todd sacrifice himself somehow with Raven there and be like, give up my life for Hank. Oh, I would love that trade. That would be a good redemption.
Oh, fuck.
Let's trade. Like, kill me and bring back Hank if you can. Like, that could be a way for me to like Raven a little bit if she's like, I figured out how to bring people back, but it requires sacrifice. And he's all like, take me. And he gives his life for Hank and brings him back. Oh my God. Okay, then I would start liking Titans. So definitely do that, Titans. You can have that one idea for free. But there you go. But all right, let's go ahead and jump over to comic books. We're gonna say this right off the bat. Miracle Molly, there was a one shot this week. We didn't read it. The art was awful.
It was
And
horrendous.
yeah, and I could not read 38 pages with that art and just of Miracle Molly. Like, because I don't care for the character. They have not built her up enough in the comic books that I would care about a one shot. So there is that. But let's go ahead and talk about let's talk about Detective first. I didn't realize that this is the penultimate episode or issue because there are only 6 issues of this series. So we're gonna get the finale in the next issue. But what did you think? So this issue did kill my theory of Night being sus, which now I'm kind of like, why did they make her so sus? Like, she came off very suspicious in this series, and now it doesn't look like she's the villain.
Yeah,
So,
no. We didn't really see Night at all. We only saw Squire again in this issue.
Yeah, Night was in the first two issues, though. Remember, I told you like she seemed like she was kind of being coy with
that's right, because we
information or
didn't see a
whatever.
whole lot of her, and then you were like, oh, well,
Yeah.
maybe because she kind of knows the same people.
Yeah.
I could definitely see, and I was like, oh, maybe
Because
she
they did
is.
hint at Night and Squire. Because if I'm not mistaken, she's the original Squire, right? And she grew to become the Knight, and that's why she has a Squire.
Yes,
Because
I think so.
in this, because they show like the old school version of Knight and Squire with
and
Batman.
she has red hair. Yeah.
Yeah. And Knight's a man. So so anyways, so there's that. And so we see that Ducard is still alive, and essentially all that happens in this issue is the villain is revealed. It's revealed that it's an old disciple of Ducard who is very similar to Bruce, but she was just like a stone cold killer. And we find out that her motivation is that somebody that Bruce Wayne saved, or Batman saved, ended up getting drunk and killing her family that she left the business for. So she is essentially a woman scorned, and she took it as my family would still be here had Batman let this person die. So her mission is to kill everybody that Batman saved. So and then
dude,
the
she
story
just straight up like sees her dead family, gets out of the car, and cracks that dude's neck. Like straight up. I was like, oh shit. Now, granted, they did show that she had a darker past before she got out of that game and then got a family. So I was like, okay, I can understand.
That's why she got out.
Yeah. I can understand the idea of like how angry she could be in that moment and going into her old ways, snaps her neck or whatever. This was a quick read. This was super quick.
Yeah.
I think it comes with the territory of backstories and everything else because they kind of just want to be like, hey, let's get this over with. We know who it is now.
Yeah.
I don't know if I necessarily like the reveal because I think it would have hit a lot harder if it was somebody we knew.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't like a surprise, like, oh shit, it's this person. It's like, oh, it's this person. Let's learn more about her.
Yeah, it's also like a lot of people don't know about Ducard or know who Ducard is. So like if it was like Alfred or somebody telling him like it was one of my disciples or something, like if this would have been like Alfred's daughter, that would have been crazy. You know what I mean? Because then it's like,
what's her name? Jennifer? No.
Something like that. Yeah. So it would have been insane for it to be Alfred's daughter because, like, they're essentially family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Batman would be going after, his technically father's daughter, his sister, essentially. So that would have been a really good story. But yeah, I will say when they do invent a new character like this, it is kind of lackluster. I get the character's motivation. It does seem interesting. And now the final issue is Batman has to save London because Batman saved London one time, and so she wants to destroy the whole city.
What is the the line? Because I kind of like rolled my eyes at it.
That classic line that's stolen from everywhere.
He says, we have to go, and Squire's like, what is it? And he's like, she's gonna try to kill a city. And I'm just
Yeah.
like,
Oh no, I thought you were talking about there was like that one line that's like in every movie or every book. I'm pretty sure it was in this comic where it's a very classic cliche. It's been used along the lines of like you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. It was one of those type of quotes.
oh, okay, yeah.
Was it in this book? I'm pretty sure it was in this book. It was like in quotation, not in quotations, but I think it was a thought box. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. Let's see. A few seconds. Blah blah blah. Damn it! I could have, or maybe it's not this book. Maybe it's one of the. It might be one of the Batman World things.
Okay, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the only thing he says is after he gives the whole like tragic backstory, Jacquard says, um, if you hadn't saved Gallagher, Charlotte's family would have still been alive. Your many intentions uh, have created ripples. I think she sees you as an agent of chaos.
Yeah.
Is some sort of like rippling of what you were kind of talking about. But
Yeah.
I did roll my eyes at the very last line. I'm just like, kind of killed the vibe there. But I
Yeah.
I still don't see this like this is kind of a miss for me. Like again, we have said Tom Taylor gets a lot of things right,
Yeah.
but he does get a lot of things wrong. And
Yeah.
one of those things is the the landing. He doesn't stick the landing very well in some of
Yeah.
these books. And we have one more issue. We'll see how it is.
Yeah.
I think this is probably a Batman story that I wouldn't buy the trade for. There's a lot of them that I could be like, oh, this is interesting enough to be like, hey, I could see this in my collection. This one, not
Hmm.
so much. Not as of right now.
Yeah. I haven't been enjoying the story personally. It's I was actually just going to skim this story originally,
Yeah.
but I was like, I got some time. Let me actually try to read the first couple pages. And like you said, it was kind of a quick read, so I was just like, okay. I was like, you know what? That was okay, but it's not something that I'm like, yeah, this story's amazing. And I've said this many a times on this podcast. Not everybody can write Batman. I mean, we're gonna talk about another issue here in a little bit. I mean, we'll probably talk about it right now, but Nightwing is fantastic right now. So he knows how
Yes.
to write Dick Grayson very well, but not so much Batman. So yeah, what did you think about Nightwing?
Nightwing, I actually really, really dug. I will say, not a huge fan of the art this week. I don't know, it just didn't really play well with me.
Yeah, I didn't
But
like the ending page.
I did like the Nightwing Batman team up.
That was awesome.
Um, there was this one moment where I was just like, "Oh my heart!"
Yeah,
There's a moment where Batman, like, because the whole scenario is Nightwing is getting back into Gotham because of this whole fear state thing. He's finding it very difficult to kind of roam around Gotham just the normal way that anybody would normally do as
yeah,
a vigilante, and
because the magistrate's taken over already.
because of the magistrate, it is clearly becoming a what is it
Police state.
called? Yeah, police state or whatever. And he's actually tricked, and he goes to Crime Alley just to be bombarded by the magistrate. Batman actually helps him and teams up with him, and they have to run because there's just way too many of the magistrate soldiers and freaking drones or whatever. And so they're like, okay, well, if we can't, be on the outside, let's go on the inside. And they freaking bust through these apartments, and and Nightwing's like, we'll pay for everything. We're
Yeah,
sorry. And they just keep running through freaking walls and doors and stuff. And they're like, hey, too many people are about to get hurt doing this.
yeah,
Let's go under Gotham. And so they go through the sewage pipes and all of this, or the tunnels or whatever. Uh, and there's a moment where Batman goes, uh, I lost my parents in that alley. I wasn't about to do the same for my son.
yeah,
And I was just like, oh, it hurts. My
yeah,
heart. It's so good.
yeah,
But I will say, there's a lot of these moments where the art did work,
hmm,
where like it's that classic like not showing any kind of like texture towards Batman's like face, and
yeah,
it's all shadow and it's just the eyes. There's a lot of times where they do that here. It works very, very well. Um, Batman and Nightwing just always it just makes me happy. It legitimately does, because there is a lot of like this classic nostalgia of Batman and Robin, and yeah, you can see it when Damian and Batman fight, but it's different for each one.
Yeah,
like it would be different if Tim Drake and Batman fought together, you know?
Yeah.
So seeing what they were able to do here was very, very fun. The one thing that I find kind of confusing is like Nightwing kind of acts like he hasn't seen Barbara for a while,
Yeah.
but Barbara has been in every issue of Nightwing since the beginning of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of weird. Yeah, that was just really kind of weird, and it was all to set up like she was like, "Oh man, I can't do anything in here," so she essentially becomes Batgirl again,
Yeah,
and she has a bow staff. Does she always have a bow staff?
she has not always had a bow staff.
Yeah.
But the art, I totally agree with you on this last page. It looks like the Batgirl suit is like 3 sizes too big.
Right? That's what I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
It
Like,
does look a little baggy on her.
yeah. And it's supposed to be like the Burnside suit, and it
It's
doesn't look good.
adapted. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's adapted because one thing is they wrote Burnside in like Babs art style, so
Yeah.
it looks very childish. She
Yeah.
looks younger, she's smaller. That kind of suit on a fully grown woman
Yeah.
is not going to work out. And the way they kind of changed it is like, of course, the color of it is not the full on purple.
No, it's like
It's
dark.
more of it's more of a blue, and the cowl I feel like is completely different because more so because you're not seeing her pupils, you're seeing the wide eyes.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the bigger things also.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really weird. But I like that Batgirl's coming back. I've never really liked her in the chair. Like in the Oracle chair of being Oracle. Like I prefer her to be Batgirl because she's Batgirl.
Yeah.
I don't care what people really say. Still blows my mind that people think that she's better as an Oracle. I just don't get it.
I was just about to say we have been in very controversial conversations about that. We already know, but what did you feel? Because I feel like that's really all there is to it. I will say I'm not looking for a lot of people are making a lot of like hype for not the next issue, but I think it's issue 87 or something like that. It's a gimmick issue where Tom Taylor is making the entire issue one giant page.
Huh?
So it's going to have multiple pages,
Yeah.
but if you literally cut the pages out, if you were to make them all single pages and line them up,
Yeah.
it would look like one giant image.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's really just going to look like Nightwing is moving from one side of the page to the other throughout the entire issue. And I think it has something to do with Bitewing, the dog, Haley.
Uh-huh.
I did like that part in the beginning
Yeah.
of the book. The kids.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know who that is, by the way.
Neither do I.
I was like, was she introduced in an earlier issue? I don't remember her.
We haven't
Who
heard
are
about
these
her sister
kids?
his sister in a while.
Yeah.
Like,
And the whole fact that like this kid was like Nightwing was like, hey, what happened to your goldfish? And the kid was like,
he got
what
what he
it
deserved.
deserved.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I was like, you really want to leave your dog there? Like, it's kind of gangster. But
Oh,
for the
man.
most part, yeah, I like the issue, but I just hate that it's going to be hampered by Fear State. Yeah, that's really the only thing I can say. Going on to another comic book that is going to be hampered by Fear State, we got Catwoman. What were your thoughts on this? I was enjoying parts of the art. Like, some of the art was good.
I was enjoying this. There's like this weird thing with freaking Clayface in here.
Yeah.
There's a moment where like he's talking to all of the other like villain characters that want to like change their lives or whatever. Gave me like freaking Jabba the Hutt vibes.
Nice.
Just in the way he's like portrayed and like talking to these people. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
But I don't like the hindrance of Fear State with these characters. Because this feels like it's ramping up to something.
Yeah.
And there's rumors. I don't want to wish this into existence, but there's rumors that either this book is ending or it's getting canceled.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. So that would suck because I think Ram V. I would not be opposed to Ram V taking over Batman, to be honest.
I think he could do it. So Ram V is one of those people. He just recently commented on like storytelling
Mm-hmm.
in the sense of like writing or whatever. And he said he's 100% for the writing styles of like the long game
Yeah.
rather than like, oh, I'm only going to write for like 6 issues and like
Yeah.
hope that story sticks and maybe we'll get a 7th issue. Because there's a lot of writers nowadays that kind of feel like they have to tiptoe
Mm-hmm.
around like, hey, my writing may not be good enough for people to want to read 6 issues,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna hope for 4. And it's like, you can't write like that. You need to have a story going in and legit hope for the best. You can't just be like, oh, I want to write this character, but I don't know if Marvel or DC is gonna let me stay on for more than 10 issues.
Yeah.
Like that kind of is like, that's just bullshit at at that point. But there is one moment that I did not like
Ooh.
because I feel like there is like a so the moment is we'll just talk it out. There's a moment where she or Selena is talking to her sister,
Mm-hmm.
right? And her sister is like, uh you loving you is like loving the sun.
That was the comment. That was the comment.
Yeah.
The quote
The
that everybody
everybody,
uses.
yeah.
Where is that originally from?
I don't know.
I've heard it a bunch of times though.
So it says loving you is like
Is it Doctor
loving.
Who?
There's no way it originated from Doctor Who.
No, not originated, but I feel like it's. Oh no, it's something. Oh, it's when River is talking about how she loves the Doctor with the Capaldi episode. It's something about the stars or some shit like that.
You know what? You are right.
I think that's the
Yeah.
quote. I think it's from Doctor Who.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. The
Yeah,
Christmas special. hmm So
that's how
when
I
she
knew it so
says
well.
this, when she says this, she says, but loving you is like loving the sun, Selena. Most of us can't get close without burning up.
Yeah, I
And
think
when
the Doctor
it's
Who thing has to do with the stars though, but
so
similar.
when you see that quote, when you see that box
Mm-hmm.
of lettering, it shows 3 panels of her getting saved by Batman, her kissing Batman, and then her and Batman looking over the city,
Yeah.
kind of implying that her love for Batman is like loving the sun.
Mm-hmm. Or she's gonna
Saying,
get him burned.
yeah,
Yeah.
kind of moving towards the idea that they can't be together.
Yeah, I thought that too. It did kind of
And
like,
I'm just like, this is so bullshit. Like,
yeah,
why? Why is it that like this whole idea that there is certain characters that can never be in a happy, like intimate, functioning relationship is complete crap.
yeah, I agree. Um, yeah, that was the only thing that bothered me about this issue was that they're possibly hinting at a Catwoman split from Batman, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, God damn it! It just gives me another reason to hate Tynan, to be honest. Unless Tynan comes out and says like, "Oh, DC didn't want me to have them be together," that'd be a whole different thing. But I kind of call bullshit because he is a Snyder disciple, and Snyder never once had Catwoman in his series, which was crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Um, you know, I already said that anything that doesn't involve Batman and Catwoman, if I ever get to write Batman, is just gonna not be considered canon in my head. I'm like, I'm sorry, it'll all get fucking thrown out. I will literally start from Tom King's run. Like, I don't give a shit about anything else because like he had it right.
But they end it like Selena ends up seeing the whole Oracle thing. She's
Yeah,
like, oh shit. And this is again the reason why this whole fear state is bullshit is it did the exact same thing for Nightwing that it does in here. She just saw Batman.
Yeah.
Last issue. In the sense of maybe a few hours ago.
Yeah.
And here they're like, oh, by the way, like he's dead. They're like, oh, he's dead. And then they're like, oh, actually, he's not dead. It's like the encrypted
message.
It's message. But the problem with that is in Fear State, in Batman, they said that he was there for 7 days, for like an entire week.
The Scarecrow Batman storyline timeline doesn't make sense. It's fucking weird.
It's so stupid.
Like, and why? Like, he escaped in the bat suit, but that whole time he's like in a gimp suit.
Yeah.
So like, I don't get it. Like, it's bad storytelling. And that's all on Tynan. It's not on Tom Taylor. It's not on fucking Ram V. That's all on Tynan because it's his main story.
So there may be a reason for that.
Okay.
And take it as is, but from what I am hearing is that Tynan never wanted the magistrate to be a part of his story. He only wanted to do the Scarecrow story.
Yeah.
So shoehorning in the magistrate kind of forced his hand at like changing his story up.
Yeah.
To involve more books, possibly. Because it's leading to the fact that like everything is leading up to Ridley's I Am Batman.
Yeah. Which is 6 years in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because apparently I don't usually read solicits because I don't want to be spoiled. And this isn't very spoilerish because it's very vague. But there's no mention of like Batman in Detective at all.
Ooh.
In like December. And it's pushing towards the idea of like possibly the shadow of the Bat stories seeping into Detective Comics.
Yeah.
So like the only thing we'll get of Batman is from Williamson with this whole like, hey, Batman on the road.
Yeah.
And we already know that's only temporary. So we don't know what the fuck is going on. So the next time somebody is solidified in the Batman title may be with Jace at the helm.
Jace. Yeah, that would be not great in my opinion. I'm actually looking through because I know we get Detective next week.
Yes.
We actually don't have a lot of Batman next week, so I'm debating whether we should push World to next week.
I'm okay with it because, like you said, we barely have anything next week. And it looks like our connection to DC is pretty busy tonight. We already have 2 more weeks in advance past next week.
Maybe he's a Halloween person, so he's like, don't fucking bother me for all of October.
I think he is, to be completely honest.
So, so I noticed that. So yeah, we'll push World to next week. But we still have to cover Batman. Let's see. So yeah, so I know we mentioned we were going to cover World, but we're going to actually just talk about the final issue of Batman right now. Again, Catwoman ends with Fear State. It seems like they're going to be fighting for Alleytown, what the next series is going to be, or the next issue. But if this gets canceled, we might not finish it. So who knows? But yeah, moving on to Batman. What did you think of this damn issue?
So I read it like I think Sunday or Monday.
Okay.
And I needed to say something. And I'm like, I can't push too much into it because I'm pretty sure DC they look at everybody who gets the review copies. So if I spill the beans on something, I'm getting that revoked. So I was like, son of a bitch, I gotta say something. I'm just like, fuck Ghostmaker. That's all I said. I was just like, Ghostmaker needs to leave, basically, is what I said. And there is no reason for his character. Yeah. I hate the idea of this. So the whole premise of this whole thing is, okay, Batman is starting to see all the dots. He's connecting them, and he is compromised. Like, he has said this multiple times to Oracle, to the Bat family, to freaking Ghostmaker. He's like, I am compromised.
Mm-hmm.
I am too powerful. Like, if I am in any way subjected to Scarecrow's manipulation, basically I could kill everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody needs to help me.
Yeah.
And he's like, Ghostmaker, I need your help. Nobody else can do this. And
Yeah.
Ghostmaker's like, oh, it's because I'm the best. He's like, no, it's because of this. He's like, oh, it's because I'm a psychopath. And I'm just like, shut the fuck up, dude.
What did you think of the them essentially having virtual sex with the demolition man masks?
Like, the very first thing you see is Batman kissing Talia, freaking Poison Ivy, and freaking Catwoman.
Yeah.
And Ghostmaker's like, oh, can we stay here longer?
Yeah, he's like, let's start with the dirty stuff, is what he says.
Yeah. And again, I understand what he's going for.
Yeah.
You need to break the silence of like all the seriousness. I was like, okay, you get one chuckle out of me.
Mm-hmm.
But like, then you start to do this whole like, oh, actually, like, it's basically Inception. They go from freaking basically it is like you freaking not Total Recall, Demolition Man,
Demolition
doing the whole virtual thing, and freaking Ghostmaker's like, Batman, I don't know what to do. Should I defend you? Like, Batman completely shuts down. He's just like, I'm useless, by the way. Like, you need to do this on your own. And then out of nowhere, Batman is like in a prison cell inside his own mind.
Yeah.
And he doesn't remember anything. And like, it's supposed to show that they have been there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But like, this is a comic book.
So is that what it was supposed to be? Shit. Yeah, I didn't get that at all.
Exactly. You don't get any of that. It's immediately right after the fight that they just got in.
Mm-hmm.
So none of what freaking Tynan is trying to push makes sense in this issue at all.
That's weird.
Like, I don't. Oh, and the idea that Ghostmaker knew Crane before he became Scarecrow was complete bullshit. Like, oh, actually, I heard about this awesome student that has like he wrote his paper on the fear state. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you saying that you knew about the fear state and all of Scarecrow's plans, and you just decided, this seems fairly familiar, but I'm not going to say anything to Batman until it's super important to be inside of his brain and tell him.
Yeah, don't forget, stupid. Clay, this is a guy that can have a threesome and solve like 12 crimes at the same time while he's getting busy.
He should have solved the Scarecrow thing before he was introduced inside the Batman book.
If he was that good as they make him to be in this book. I just don't... It's like we've shit on Ghostmaker so much. It's very crazy that we can just keep shitting on this guy. And I don't want to. I just want him to go away like I do Red Hood and Titans.
Yes.
Like, that's all I want. Because, again, it doesn't make sense. Like, you are being force-fed Ghostmaker here. And
yes, and that's one thing I was literally about to say. In Titans, because we made the similarities between him and Jason Todd, Jason Todd is not Titans.
Yeah.
So them forcing this story and like trying to repeat like this, like, oh, you need to care about him because, you know, he's going through a hard time. He could possibly still be a viable part of the team. Like, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Same thing with Ghostmaker. Tynan is spending too much time not developing his character of Ghostmaker, but just saying, hey, Ghostmaker's here. He's better than everybody. Oh, and he's Batman's best friend that he never knew he always had.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's even worse when you get something like the Nightwing issue we just read, where you see how important Nightwing is to Batman. and you're gonna try to come in here and put in this pseudo friend, best friend of all time, like this Sasuke to his Naruto kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't make sense. And we knew it from the moment that Tynan said he was trying to do something like that it was gonna fail. I don't know anybody that likes Ghostmaker. Like, even people talk shit about him on Reddit. Like,
yeah, I haven't legitimately seen anybody talk praise about Ghostmaker.
yeah.
And
I've
one thing
heard some
that I
people
need to
say
start
his
doing,
design is cool, but
well,
that's about it.
I just literally had a conversation with somebody that's like, "Oh, you mean Moon Knight?"
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, "No, I'm talking about Ghostmaker." And they're like, "Oh no, like look at his character. He's
Mm-hmm.
Moon Knight." And it's like, yeah, he technically is, or he is a white souped up Talon, is what
Yeah.
other people's have said. And what I need to start doing, because I used to do this with Superman books, um, I need to, on Tuesdays, because the books release on Tuesdays,
Yeah.
and possibly Wednesdays, because some comic book shops like our own
Yeah.
still don't release the books until Wednesday. Um, and that is their choice.
Mm-hmm.
But I need to search keywords for each issue
Yeah.
on Twitter to see what people are saying about these issues.
Yeah.
Like I need to tweet, I need to search Fear State, I need to search Ghostmaker, I need to search Batman, see what people are actually saying. It's been a while since I've done it. I
Yeah.
think the last time I did it with Ghostmaker was when his like backups on the whole Batman book were, or was it Detective? I think it was Detective. No, it
No,
was
it's
the
Batman.
Batman
It
book.
was Batman.
Yeah, it was the Batman book. Which, by the way, did this one have? I don't think
No,
this
because
one
he's getting a
has.
one shot to finish the story. Remember?
Oh, that's right. This backup was freaking his
Was
other his
yeah,
his
Clown
other
Hunter.
freaking clown hunter
Yeah.
guy. Yeah, which is again stupid. But the last time I looked up Ghostmaker was when the backup started with him to see
Yeah.
how people were liking his solo adventure or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Which people were just like, yeah, that was a waste of 5 minutes reading or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we'll
man.
see.
And then of course the story ends up ending because I guess they clear his mind of Scarecrow, or kind of, maybe.
They don't even say.
Yeah. Either
Because
way.
the way it ended is he they clear it, but they don't clear it, because at the very end, oh, you know what, they do clear it. They clear it with the idea of like, hey, I'm your best friend, do you remember me? Like that's how he feels better. Like that's basically it.
Right.
And then instead of going out into the real world, they actually show a new memory, and it's not Batman's, it's actually Ghostmaker's. And that's when he
Oh
sees the
yeah,
whole
yeah.
thing with
Crane.
freaking Crane. And then from there, we apparently Crane knew this idea of the fear state, and that's why I call bullshit on this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Crane, again, I understand that he is not all there, but apparently while he was going to this university, told this random stranger, "Oh, the best way fear state works is in a terrorized state."
Yeah.
Meaning, you need to take over an entire city as a terrorist
Yeah.
and create a fear state.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's telling a complete stranger that. I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah.
literally nothing makes sense.
I'm not so much bothered by that because it's the typical trope of a villain monologuing, you know? So I'm not so upset about that. But yeah, like, it is very convenient that Ghostmaker just so happened to meet Crane. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, a lot of that's more bothersome than Crane saying his whole plan. Because we've talked about random shit before that people would probably be like, that's kind of weird. But we like to talk about, like, big ideas, you know what I mean? Because we're like, what if a comic was like this? And,
Yeah.
you know, and then we talk about random shit. So I can see somebody saying something ridiculous like that, you know what I mean? And then it only adds to Crane is a psychopath. So it makes sense. So I'm
Yeah.
not too bothered by that, but I am bothered by fucking Ghostmaker still trying to be this super OP character. I cannot believe just how bad Tynan doesn't know Batman and how he made Batman like a fifth wheel. He made him that backup wheel on the back of Jeeps, you know, that spare wheel. That's Batman in this fucking story.
It
He's the
is.
5th important wheel. Like,
And like it doesn't look like next issue is going to be any better because it looks like there's going to be a showdown between Peacekeeper 1 and Peacekeeper X.
oh yeah, because that's how it ends, right?
Yeah.
After a bloodbath. Yeah, he's like, oh, we're gonna if you surrender, we can save you and clear the mind. And he's like, no, I'm a hero. And so yeah, we're gonna see Deathstroke Peacekeeper versus the OG Peacekeeper. And I'm pretty sure Batman's gonna go in there and save them both or whatever. Um, yeah, like you could have literally just everything Ghostmaker has done, made that Nightwing, and this would have been 10 times better.
Yeah.
So much better. But they had to he had to try to push this anime bullshit, and then now he's not even going to stick around. So like the anime thing was just so bad. It looks even worse in
Oh
hindsight.
no, well, wasn't it? Oh, you know what? Oh shit!
What?
Hold on. Do you remember when we were like, "Oh, all of these characters are bullshit," right?
Uh-huh.
And then Tynan said on Word Balloon, "Oh, well, I have stories that go out to 3 years with these characters, right?"
Yeah.
Do you remember one of the first words that freaking Williamson said on the article about him like moving his Batman story forward?
No.
We are still following the stories of the heroes in Batman.
Ugh, I hope not. I mean, he is doing anime shit,
Oh shit.
but I mean,
It may
hey,
not be the end of Ghostmaker after all.
yeah,
Fuck.
I don't know, man. As much as Williamson seems like he's doing all right, I don't think anybody can make Ghostmaker appealing. That's why I would just kill him. Like, I
You
just don't
you
see it.
want you want to make him appealing, honestly? No, I was gonna say make him a villain. I was gonna say like make him betray Batman. Uh, but
Been
at
there, done
that
that.
point, well,
Yeah,
yeah, I was gonna say like at that point, all you're doing is like solidifying everything that he said about himself. Like, oh, I'm a psychopath. Like you can't trust me, and blah blah
yeah.
blah, and like I'm better than you, and
Yeah,
like
see,
oh
here's the
fuck,
only thing. The only way that would work and be good is if you made him a really prominent character in the Bat family and he actually helps out. You can start trusting him. You actually like him. And then he fucking turns evil. But if he turns evil now, it's just like, meh, who cares?
yeah,
I don't care about him. Like you need the turns are shocking when they like mean something or like when
yeah.
you care about the character. And nobody gives a fuck about Ghostmaker. So a lot of people probably thought he was a villain
Maybe
to start out
maybe
with.
maybe he'll just have a big head, and hopefully a villain will kill him soon.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We can only hope. Uh, but that's going to be it for comics, ladies and gentlemen. I will say we were going to cover World. Apologies. The reason why I'm deciding to push it is I'm not feeling great. And plus, this podcast is already 2 hours. So we can talk about World for, I feel like, another 30 to 40 minutes because
Oh
there was
yeah,
a lot.
yeah.
So we're
There
going
were
to push it to next week.
176
Sorry.
pages. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
This is the second week we're pushing it, but apologies. We don't got any comics next week, so it's plenty of time to talk about it over there. But yeah, Clay, what do you got coming up this week, man?
I did say I was going to be covering Visions yesterday. On last episode, I was going to be covering it on Wednesday. Unfortunately, my co-host actually fell ill. We're going to postpone that. It's either going to be live this Sunday or next Wednesday. So just go to the Geekverse YouTube channel and press subscribe. Make sure that you know when we are going live. And of course, I'll be tweeting it out once I do. I will say, go watch Star Wars Visions. It is absolutely amazing. Really cool
Nice.
artwork. They take the liberty, like basically it's Disney saying, "Hey, here's the core concept of Star Wars. Do whatever the fuck you want with it."
Nice.
And they literally do. And there's some really cool concepts. Maybe one episode that didn't hit for me, but
Which
all
one? The
the other
tentacle
ones.
lightsaber?
No, it was there was this thing called, I forgot what the it's something Rhapsody,
Hmm.
and like basically a Jedi goes into hiding and he gives up the mantle of Jedi, becomes a like freaking roadie
Hmm.
for a band, and one of his bandmates gets captured by Jabba the Hutt, and he's like, "Hey, instead of killing our bandmate, what if we become the number one band in the galaxy and you're our sponsor?" And somehow that saves their bandmate.
Was that the jazz band? That should have been their origin story.
That would actually been really good. But no, it's actually a completely made up band. Boba Fett is featured there.
Hmm.
But that, I mean, that's the only one that didn't really hit it for me. The art in that one was kind of fun. It had kind of like a chibi-ish look. But some of my favorites, there's the Ninth Jedi is one of my favorite ones. The Duel, the black and white one that everybody loves, that is so awesome.
Nice.
With the umbrella lightsaber or whatever.
Mhm.
But there's some really, really cool ones. I think everybody should check it out. So I will be covering that next week around this time. Sorry, next week on Friday. So the first, I will be going live on Marvel Alliance to talk Venom.
Oh God,
That
that's already
movie
coming out.
is coming out on the first, so I would have already seen it by now. And yeah, go check out. That'll also be on the Geekverse YouTube channel. So those are the
Nice.
two biggest things that are coming out within a week's time.
Noise, noise, noise. Well, I'll say everybody go check out. If you're watching this on YouTube, my YouTube counts are connected to this YouTube, so you can just go follow me there. Obviously, me and Clay also comment in the videos, so if you guys want to check out our profiles, they're down there as well. But I haven't been posting anything because I'm in the process of actually just planning a bunch of stuff for the YouTube. Like I said, another reason why we're not covering World, I'm not feeling great at the moment, but I was started reading World 2 days ago, and I read the first story and I had a mini panic attack. So it fucked me up yesterday. There's like a panic attack hangover kind of situation for anybody that's never had a panic attack before. And so I felt a little bit better today. That's all I was able to do the podcast. I had to read everything today, which was crazy. But yeah, so just go follow my YouTubes, my TikTok, whatever. All the links are in the description of this video if you're watching it on YouTube, or the description of the podcast. But that is going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. Again, shout out for making us, according to FeedSpot, the 10th best Batman podcast out there. We
Fuck
appreciate it.
yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. As always, he is Fanboy Clay. I am Juice Wayne. And remember, Batman is awesome.
News Weekly.